Hello. In this video, we'll continue with our alimony problem set. This is problem number 3. Now this problem, if you have not yet done problem 1 and 2, follow along with those problems. And you're going to see that the facts are going to be very similar to the problem set in 1 and 2, including the first paragraph is identical. Lemon and Lime were married for many years. On January 1st of year 1, they were divorced. They had a 12-year-old son named Limonero, who has since been the date, January 1st, year 1, the date of the divorce, living with Lemon and in custody of Lemon. During year 1, Lime had gross income of $50,000 and made timely payments under the divorce decree. Now, under that divorce decree, Lime is to pay $1,000 per month to Lemon for support of Lemon and Limonero until Lemon's death or remarriage. This amount, this $1,000 per month amount, is to be reduced, so it's to go down to $800 in the case of either Limonero's death or if Limonero no longer becomes a member of Limonero's household. Lime only paid $800 per month. That should be per month in year 1. So $800 per month in year 1. Lemon used $500 of that amount to support Limonero, $500 each month. Now assume the following. Lemon and Lime are not members of the same household. The decree does not specify any specific tax consequences, and the decree is issued before 2018, and there have been no modifications. Again, I want to reiterate that it's important that if you have not yet watched problem 1 and problem 2, please watch those videos first. So remember that whenever we start any type of income tax consequences, we go through our 5 questions. What amount of income? What amount of deduction or credit? So basically we're dealing with outflows. The third question is when. The fourth question is who. Who has to record? When is it recorded? Who has to record? And the fifth question is character. But we're not going to worry about character with respect to this transaction. That's for later topics. I'll tell you though that if you're interested, that any character issues here are going to be ordinary character. Everything's going to be ordinary. And you'll learn more about that in later topics. This is a dissolution of marriage type issue. Dissolution of marriage. And remember, whenever we're dealing with dissolution of marriage, we have some specific tax concepts to worry about. The first thing we always have to do is figure out the classification of whether it's a division of property, alimony, or in the middle in terms of property settlement. Also, we have some respective tax treatment when it comes to child support, and we'll talk about that. And that's, you only really worry about alimony, you only really worry about child support if it's considered alimony. So if it's alimony, then you view it as child support. Now remember that alimony has old and new rules. Old and new rules. So this is not a division of property because nowhere are we dealing with property that came before the marriage and then it's taken out after marriage. This has to do with more of a support issue. So one spouse supporting the other spouse and the child. So we're really worried about property settlement and alimony. Now, when it comes to the tax consequences of alimony, remember that under the new tax law, after the Tax Cuts and Jobs Act, if the decree is issued after 2018, then it's not going to be the old rules, which is where it's included in gross income to the payee spouse, which is Lemon here, and it's not going to be deductible to the payor. Or if it was, the decree was issued, the divorce decree, separation agreement was issued before 2019, and there was some type of modification after 2018, in which it states that you're meant to apply the new tax law. Well, we don't have that here. We're under the old tax law here, not the new, because the decree is issued before 2018, so it's not even before 2019, before 2018, and there's been no modifications whatsoever. So we're under the old law. And under the old law, if you remember, alimony to the payee spouse is included in gross income. We include in gross income. To the payor spouse we deduct, and it's above the line deduction. It's above the line deduction. The payee here, by the way, is Lemon. Payor is Lime. So that's really the tax consequences potentially that we have here. And when you're down between property settlement and alimony and child support, you should start by looking at, does it meet the actual category of alimony? Because if it's not alimony and it's not division of property, it's property settlement almost surely, and then you don't have to worry about child support because property settlement is not taxable to the party receiving and not deductible, just like child support is. But if it's alimony, then we got to worry about next step. It's not property settlement, it's alimony, but what portion is child support? Because there's something in here that potentially looks like child support. So to be alimony, if you remember, we have 5 criteria. First is that it must be a cash payment. We have that. It's $1,000 per month. Next, it must be part of a divorce or separation instrument. So divorce or separation instrument. And remember that the tax law under Code Section 71 has some definitions of this, but specifically if it's a divorce decree in which the court requires one spouse to pay another, it meets a criteria. So we have that. It's a divorce decree in which Lime is to pay Lemon. The third element is that it does not state it's not alimony. We're specifically told the decree does not specify any tax consequences or does not say anything about whether it not being alimony. So does not say not alimony. And because we have nothing in here that states that, and again, nothing about the specific tax consequences, that is the case. So it does not say not alimony. I know, again, double negative, but that's how the law reads. Fourth is that the payor and payee are not the members of the same household at time of payment. So not members of same household at time of payment. That's the key, is at the time of payment. We're told, though, specifically they're not members of the same household at all. So that is met. The fifth requirement is that the payor stops payment on payee's death. And I would even say also on remarriage, which we're told here that this amount until Lemon's death or remarriage. So it stops on Lemon's death, which is what we have here, so we just met that, or even remarriage. And again, that's the whole idea of what alimony is, support, and it's supposed to end upon that death or remarriage because, again, that contract, someone else comes along, takes that contract. So we do have alimony because we have all 5 elements. So alimony is here. Some portion of this is very likely to be treated as alimony, or all of it, all $1,000 per month, or some portion. Okay? We have to view that. Now, a few things to worry about is we do have child support to potentially worry about. Okay? We do potentially have child support. And then also, we have to worry about Lime only pays $800. So first, let's deal with the issue of child support. So if the divorce decree states exactly what the child support is, like we saw in previous problems, that is the amount of child support. Because remember, child support is not included and not deducted. It's not included by the payee and not deducted by the payor. Okay? Not deducted by payor. Payee here is, again, Lemon. Payor is Lime. So we have $1,000 per month. So the question becomes, what portion of that is alimony and what portion is child support? We have to break that $1,000 a month up. So let's read more. This amount is to be reduced. This $1,000 per month is to be reduced to $800 in the case of either Lemonero's death or Lemonero no longer being a member of Lemon's household. We're also told that Lemon uses $500 to support Lemonero. We learned in a previous problem that it doesn't matter what the spouse, what portion, of the payment the spouse uses to actually support the child. It's what the court decrees or what the court states. Well, the court does not state anything here, so we don't worry about, again, what Lemon actually uses. It's not what's actually used, it's what the court states. The court doesn't state it, but the court does say that this amount is to be reduced to $800. So to think about this, $1,000 goes to $800 in the case of either Lemonero's death or Limonero no longer becomes a member of Lemon's household. So the idea there is if Limonero gets married at a certain point in the future, Limonero is no longer part of Lemon's household because now Limonero is part of another marriage, or is part of Limonero's own his own family unit, and Lemon should no longer have to support Limonero or Lime. Lemon and Lime should no longer have to support. That should be, okay, you go out on your own. That's the idea. So the tax law actually says when there is this kind of contingency where the child turns a certain age, maybe age of majority, 18, 21, goes to college, able to be a member of another household, death, then that reduction, that difference, that 1,000 to 800, that difference, that 1,000 to 800, that $200 difference, that $200 difference, that change, that $200 difference, that's implied to be child support, that $200. So here, and that's what the tax law states in Code Section 71. So here, that $200 is child support. The alimony is the difference, or the $800 in the case that there's no longer the child to be worried about, $800. So that's how we break that up. So $800 is alimony, and $200 is considered child support. Now, that's if Lime is paying $1,000 per month. But here, Lime is only paying $800 per month. So the question becomes, this is what we have to struggle with, what portion of that $800, is that all going to be considered alimony so that Lime gets deducted? Is it all going to be child support and then the remaining after that is alimony? Or is it going to be some pro rata portion? So let me state it a different way. So again, we determined what portion of the $1,000 is child support. But what happens if payment is less? If payment is less, which is what we have here, we have $800 per month. $800 per month is what Lime is paying. So the way I see it, there's three options. There's three options of how the tax law could treat it, and I'll tell you what the answer is. But I want you to understand what the three options are. The first is that, okay, well, all 800 is alimony, or we do alimony first, and then the rest is child support, which is better for the payor, right? Because anything that's alimony is deductible. Anything that's child support is not. So that's the first option. The second option is child support is first. So this is not good for the payor Lime here because the child support portion is not deductible, but the alimony, which is after that, is. And then finally, some pro rata portion. Maybe we take, okay, 800 over 1,000 is 80%, and then we take 80% of 800, which is 640, and 80% times 200 is 160. Are we going to do some pro rata portion where we break it up, maybe based on like the percentage? So those are really our three options. And you might be thinking, well, the pro rata option seems the fairest. But remember that tax law a lot of times has policy. And one of the things when it comes to alimony in Section 71 of the Internal Revenue Code, where alimony is dealing with, and dissolution of marriage, the tax law specifically states that family law, which is the area of law that deals with divorce and separation and all that kind of stuff, prenups, postnups, that should take precedence here. The area of family law is what should take precedence, and tax law should follow from that. So for those of you out there who might have some knowledge of the family law system, what do you think the family law system wants to encourage? They want to make sure that there's no deadbeat fathers or deadbeat mothers or deadbeat spouses out there where they're not paying what they need to pay. Here, Lime is supposed to pay $1,000 per month, but Lime is only paying $800. Should Lime get the benefit of getting alimony first or some pro rata portion? No. So the tax law follows the family law and says, we're going to say that the child support comes out first. Child support comes out first. So that means that of this $800 payment, 200 is child support, and then the remainder will be viewed as alimony. The remainder will be viewed as alimony. All right? The remainder will be viewed as alimony. So let me write that out in a graphic point of view. like we've been doing with our little, breaking it up, and then also give you the ultimate tax consequences for this respective transaction. So again, Lime is only paying $800 per month, not $1,000. So the question becomes, okay, well, what portion child support, what's alimony? And again, because child support comes first, we first take $200. That's first. It's an ordering rule. That comes first. So the first $200 is child support. That's always the case. Next is whatever left over is alimony. So 800 minus 200 is 600. All right? 600 is considered alimony. So that means the child support portion is not deductible or not includable. It's not included by Lemon, not deductible to Lime. The alimony portion is $600 for each month for 12 months. So Lemon includes $7,200, which is 600 times 12. Lemon includes $7,200 because again, Lemon does not have to include the child support portion. Okay, and then Lime deducts that portion too. Lime gets a deduction of $7,200 for the year, an above the line deduction. So again, it's important to understand that when a payor spouse owes child support, but they don't pay all of it, child support comes out first because the idea is that we want to make sure that the payor spouse is discouraged from not paying what they need to pay. Okay, they should be encouraged to pay everything and get the benefit of that payment, of that full payment. All right, and we do that again because we follow the social policy of the family law system, where they want to obviously encourage and make sure that we don't have these deadbeat spouses.